Okay, I think I'm starting to see we have enough people to get started. So everybody, good morning. Welcome. I'm Connie Versailles with the City of Sunnyvale. I head our Economic Development Department, and I'm very excited to welcome you to our webinar with Google. And the topic of today's webinar is Learn How to Use Google Search and Maps. And I got to tell you, this is our second session, and at our first one we got great reviews, and we all had 3 or 4 takeaways. So I'm very excited, and I know you're all going to learn something today. But first, I'd like to thank our partners. Without them, this couldn't be possible. I'd like to thank Dennis King with the Small Business Development Center. He's been a phenomenal partner of the city, and we look forward to working with him. Today, we also have Dawn Mayer, who is the CEO of the Sunnyvale Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we're very excited to have her, as she's also has been a very strong partner of the city and a big small business supporter advocate. And then also today, I am very pleased and honored to introduce Mayor Larry Klein, who is here with us, and I'd like him to say a few words of welcome. And Mayor, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Connie, and welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining another of our business seminars. I think these are really great for our small businesses and helping them learn platforms, and especially thanking Google for being our partner here, and helping businesses through some issues that they might have of getting online. But this is just one of the many ways our city is supporting our small business community, which is crucial to the livelihood of a city, to the everyday items that people want to go see, to restaurants, to small business owners. But small business owners really make that difference on a day-to-day basis. So thank you very much for joining. But enough of me. I just want to go ahead and pass it on to our main person who everyone really wants to hear from. I just want to introduce Israel Surma from Google, and he will take it away. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mayor, for the introduction, and welcome again, everybody, to today's workshop, which is Get Your Local Business on Google Search and Maps. Before I get started, I do want to just thank again Dawn with the Chamber of Commerce as well, and Connie and Maria for organizing today's programming, but more importantly for their partnership with the Grow with Google program. So if you're not familiar with the Grow with Google program, let me just briefly share a couple of things. The program helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skill trainings and tools and webinars like the one you're participating in today. If you're interested in learning more about how the program can help you as a small business owner, I encourage you to go to grow.google/small businesses, where you can learn more about the program and then access some additional resources. So in today's workshop, you're going to learn how to set up, verify, and manage your business profile on Google. If you participated in our first webinar, I captured this and I talked about this tool briefly. Today, we're going to take a deeper dive into how this tool can help you as an entrepreneur be found online and be discovered on search and maps. Now, I want to preface it by saying that today's workshop and the platform, the profiles on Google, are intended for those businesses that either count or have a brick and mortar location, or you're a service-based business where you're actually meeting a customer face-to-face or at a location. So for example, if you are a plumber that is operating out of your van, maybe your headquarters are at your home, but you run your business out of your home, but you operate your services out of a car where you're going to a destination. That's an example of something that would qualify for a business profile. Now, if you are exclusively an e-commerce brand or a brand that's only selling online, a business profile on Google is not going to serve you any good, because the whole purpose of these profiles are for searchers to be able to find local businesses nearby that they can either visit or interact with or do business with in person. Okay, so I always like to preface it before I get started in case there are any e-commerce businesses out there that you know that ahead of time. Okay, So with that in mind, once again, my name is Israel Cerna, and I'm joining you virtually from my home office here in West Hollywood, California. It's a true pleasure to be here with you this morning. I'm a digital marketing strategist and trainer with the Grow with Google program. If you are interested in connecting with me after the webinar, feel free to reach out to me via email or look for me on my website or even on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you're going to find that I like to share a lot of relevant articles related to digital marketing, e-commerce, loyalty, retention programs, things like that. So I encourage you to look me up if you are on LinkedIn. Before I get started, I do want to take a quick poll just so that I can get a sense for who is in the audience and then also your knowledge of the business profiles on Google. So on your screen, you're going to see a poll pop up momentarily. And my question to you is, do you currently have a business profile on Google? And you're going to have three options or three answers that you can choose from. So if you already have a business profile and you're active on it, you would select number one. If you have a business profile but are here to learn best practices, click on number two. And then for those of you that aren't familiar, don't count with the business profile right now, go ahead and let me know by clicking on the third option. And I'm gonna give it a few more seconds so that we can capture as many of the answers as possible. Again, there's nothing wrong with selecting one or the other. The presentation actually is built to sort of help the different types of people that are on. So if you could, I'm just going to give it one more second and then I'm going to end the poll and then let me share the results so that way you can see who's in the audience. So it looks like about 58% of you are saying you don't have a business profile and you're here to learn how to create one. So you made it to the right webinar. And then 32% of you said you do have a business profile but are here to learn best practices. And I do have some best practices to share with you. And then there's about 11% of you that said you're active with your business profile, which is great. I do have some content for you as well in terms of best practices. So for those two first groups, just bear with me because part of this presentation does do a quick overview on how to create and build a profile. So just, be patient with me in the first couple of slides, but I promise there's going to be content for you later on in the presentation.
Israel, I'm sorry to interrupt you quick. There is a quick question that I think we may want to address. They're
Sure.
asking, how do I know if I have a profile or not?
Excellent. Good question. Perfect. I'll go ahead and answer that. So yep, absolutely. So the quickest way for you to do that is open up a browser on your on your computer and then do a search for your business. I would even include the city. And then you're going to be able to see a profile appear on the right-hand side of that search. And I have an image later on in the presentation that's going to show you what it looks like. So maybe you want to hang tight a little bit so that you can see what I'm referencing, and then do the search. Okay. Thank you, Connie, for that. So the presentation is going to be divided into 5 sections. I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes explaining to you what a business profile on Google looks like, the anatomy of those profiles, and how it appears on search. And then in the next 2 sections, I'll be reviewing the steps that you need to take to either create a business profile or verify a business profile in case there's already a profile that exists on your business. I'm also going to talk to you about how to manage your business information through the profile dashboard. I'm going to spend some time also giving you a tour of the dashboard and the back end and show everything that you could do and what you have control over. And then lastly, I'll just wrap it up with a recap and then some suggested resources for you to use. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play a quick video, a short video for you. This is a real life client that's going to talk to you about how they're benefiting from the business profiles on Google. So Maria, if you can do me a favor, or Connie, once I start playing, can you just let me know that the audio is good?
I can hear it. Oh. It's good.
My name is Vince. This is my shop. I opened Village Tailor and Cleaners in 1977. I arrived in New York 4 years earlier from Italy. It was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. My mother taught me how to sew. When I opened the shop, the first person I hired was my mother. This is Bruno, the store mascot. My little advertisement. As a business owner, you're always thinking, how can you do better? I noticed that customers come in with the clothes in one hand and the phone on the other, always looking up information. So I said to myself, we have to put this store online. Google lets me decide how the shop shows up. I pick photos, I can post special hours, anything. I made this website in 10 minutes using the website builder. And I'm not kidding. Now people walk in and I'm always asking, how did you find us? They used to say, I saw Bruno, so I came in. Now they say, Google. Believe it or not, we're up 30% this year. We're doing enough business, I had to hire more tailors and get some new machines. I've got 3 shops going, and my son Vincent Jr. is running one of them, the Village Cobbler next door. I'm in an old-fashioned profession. I work with my hands. I hadn't thought much about putting the business online. Now, I couldn't be happier. Village Tailor, 40 years and going strong.
You enjoyed that video, and I love sharing their story and more importantly how they've expanded, right? So this is a good example also of a business that traditionally counted on perhaps word of mouth marketing, foot traffic, right? And so this kind of shows you and drives the message home as to why it's important for us to make sure that our businesses are appearing and showing up on search and maps. We're actually going to be talking about their business throughout the presentation as an example. So you'll get to learn a little bit more about Vince Taylor and his son's business. So let's take a look about how to create a profile on Google, and most importantly, how a business profile looks like, okay? So here on your screen, so for the person that was asking earlier about how do I know if I have a business profile on Google. So when you do a search for your business, you should be able to see a profile profile, just like what you're seeing on your screen. Now here, it's a mobile version of what your business profile looks like. And so what I like about the profiles is that it's not only going to show relevant information about your business, like your address, your contact info, your hours of operation, but it's also going to be able to provide you with additional tools. And some of the tools that stand out for me are the ability to be able to upload photos and videos, which can help customers get a look at your store and your products before they arrive. You can also have access to customer reviews, which allow people to see what others are saying about your business. And then also quick links that you can direct people to, like your website. Maybe you have an appointment calendar. You'll be able to hyperlink all of those things on your business profile so that it's easier for people to be able to take those actions that you want them to. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of appearing on Google search. And it's important because that's how many of your customers and prospects are searching for your product or services online. So whether we are conducting a price comparison, maybe researching details about a product or service, it's how we're obtaining our information nowadays, and it's how we're being influenced. I talk about this all the time in my presentation, that we are now dealing with customers that are very well researched. So the likelihood of a prospect or a customer knowing something about your business before they arrive to your business is highly likely, because all of us are doing this nowadays. We're price comparing, we're reading reviews, we're checking out your product. Some people are even going in and seeing what the interior of your business looks like, because that may be important to them, right? Especially for those of you that have restaurants. So on your screen, you're seeing what a business profile looks like or how it appears on a desktop search, okay? So the biggest benefit of creating a business profile is that it's gonna allow you to edit the information Google displays so your business details are up to date and consistent across search and maps, okay? Now, it's important to note that creating a business profile won't guarantee that your business will appear in the search results, but it's highly likely depending on who the person is that's searching and then their location, which we're going to talk about a little bit later when we discuss the signals and the indicators that Google considers when displaying a business profile. So appearing on Google search is one thing, and then appearing on Google Maps is another thing. And I think it's super important for your businesses to appear on Google Maps because, you know, if you're anything like me, when I was traveling a lot, for example, and visiting new areas or new cities, I would turn to search to be able to find a local restaurant. I'm a big coffee aficionado, so for me, it was always, you know, visiting a new coffee shop or checking out a new coffee shop that I heard about. And so it's how we conduct searches, right? And maps can help you appear on the searches. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about for those businesses that do operate out of your home, I'm going to talk to you about how you can still appear on Google Search and Maps without having a physical address, okay? So the question, or the $1 million question, is, you know, how does Google decide what to display and when to display it? And what are those factors? So let's talk a little bit about the signals and the factors that Google uses to determine which results to show, including factors like relevancy, distance, and prominence. So relevancy is how well a business profile matches a search. So if I'm in Northern California, in San Jose, and I'm doing a search for a specialty coffee shop, okay? The likelihood of Google displaying a pizza or a seafood restaurant is not likely, because Google is going to do the best it can to only display businesses that meet that search query, okay? So Google is going to scan the internet to find coffee shops, or at least places that sell coffee, and display them to me, okay? So that's relevancy, how well a business profile matches a search. The second is the distance, and it's just like it sounds. So how close is the business to the searcher or that area where they're searching, okay? So again, if I'm in San Jose searching for a specialty coffee shop, the likelihood of San Francisco or LA or Santa Cruz showing up is not likely, because Google, again, is going to do whatever it can to show me the businesses that match that search query based on distance. And they're going to start by showing you the closest business that matches that search. And then lastly is prominence, and that's gauged by how well known the business is based on information Google can find across the web. So this is where Google is going to scour the internet and make sure that, you know, do you have a website? Can you be found online? And it's going to, you know, so as the more information you can have online for your business, the better, because Google is going to consider that when displaying your business. One more thing to note here on the search queries. So the general rule of thumb, or the thing that I like to remind people, is that Google's main objective and Google's job, right? So believe it or not, Google is not the internet, right? They're a search engine. And Google's sole job is to make sure that they're showing you relevant content to that search query. So Google wants to be the best at that. So like I said, they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that your search query and the results are as close as aligned as possible, okay? So just keep that in mind. So another helpful feature of a business profile, or when you create a business profile, is that Google is going to automatically recognize the device that the searcher is using and automatically adjust the profile to fit that device, okay? So as you can see, if I'm doing a search query on my phone, you can see how the profile has automatically adjusted to be able to provide a great user experience on that mobile device. And so as you can see, this is one thing that you don't have to worry about, because Google takes care of that. Google is able to recognize a device and automatically adjust your profile to that screen. So let's talk about how to get started. So this is going to be for those of you that haven't yet claimed or created a profile. So there's going to be basically two ways that you can do this. The first way is by doing a search for your business. And if you find that there's already a profile that exists, there is a way for you to you go down to that bottom of that profile, just as you can see on your screen, and there's an option for you to claim that profile as yours. We're going to talk a little bit about that next. Or the other is for you to be able to go to google.com/business to get started with the process. Okay, so let's walk real quickly through that process so that way you can see what it looks like. Now, with any Google product, what you're going to find is that you're going to need a Google account. So it benefits you to create a Google account because then this is going to give you access to all of the other tools that Google offers, like a YouTube account, like Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and the business profiles on Google. So you don't need a Gmail address to create a profile. That tends to be one of the frequently asked questions that I get is, do I need to create a Gmail account to open a Google account? And the answer is no. If you want to use your business email address or your school email address or your personal email address, you can, okay? You can definitely use that email to create an account. So the first step is going to be, especially those of you that are going to claim your business, is to go and search for your business. If you find that it's there, you're going to claim it. If you find that your business isn't showing up, that's just confirming that your business profile doesn't exist. And you're going to select add your business to Google. Okay. So again, the first step is to search for your business just to double check that there isn't already a profile that exists. If there is, go ahead and claim it. And if they're not, go ahead and add your business to the profile. Now, Google's going to ask you to select a category. If you find that your category isn't discoverable or it's not listed, don't worry about it just yet. What I would recommend you do is just find the category that best describes your business. There's going to be other areas within the dashboard where you can include additional categories. So that way Google really understands the service and the type of business that you're running. Okay, so I'm going to spend a couple minutes on this one because I do get a lot of questions about this question. So at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that these profiles are intended for brick and mortar locations or brick and mortar shops or businesses that provide a service in person to a customer or have business hours that they run. Now, there's going to be two things that you could do within this next step. So if you are a brick and mortar location, you're going to select yes, that you have a place where customers can come and visit. Okay, so you're going to select yes. If you're somebody who's running a business out of your home, I recommend as a best practice that you don't list your home address in your business profile. For one, it may not look as professional, but also I'm not sure how you will feel if people start showing up to your home and asking you questions in your home. So for those types of businesses, go ahead and select no. I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides how you can still appear on a business profile, and then how can you appear on maps. So again, brick and mortar folks, you select yes. Those folks that are running or operating out of a van or out of your home, you're going to select no. You're going to enter, for those of you that selected yes, you're going to enter your business address here. Okay, you'll enter your address, and then for those of you that previously had selected no, and for some of you that even selected yes, Google offers an opportunity for you to let customers know the service area that you operate out of. Okay, let me give you an example. A lot of businesses early on in the pandemic started to offer delivery. Okay, so if I was a restaurant or am a restaurant that offers delivery, I can let Google know that I offer delivery in these particular areas. That may be a city, that may be zip codes, that may be a county, right? Depending on how far you're willing to deliver or operate. Now, for those service-based businesses like the plumbers of the world, for example, that are operating out of their van, this is where you're going to be able to let Google know the areas that you service. So, like I previously said, if you are a plumber that services a county or only particular cities, you're going to be able to include all of those areas, and you can get as specific as zip codes. Okay. Now, I wouldn't recommend including an entire state, because it's not going to benefit you for you to just say I service all of California. Remember, these profiles are intended for local search only. So it will benefit you for you to just stick to the local counties or the local cities instead of trying to let people know that you service an entire state. I do see often that businesses, they include the entire country. The only reason why I highly recommend that you don't do that is because the likelihood of you appearing on a search in like New Jersey, if your business is out of California, is very low. So you're missing this opportunity to just focus on your local market, okay? So I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I like to spend a lot of time on this slide because it can be confusing or you may have questions, and I'm more than happy to answer them at the end, okay? So your contact information, you'll be able to include your business contact information on your screen, like your phone number. I know business owners that feel comfortable including their cell phone. That's going to be up to you. Just know that it's going to be publicly listed. And then also a link to your website. If you don't have a website, I'm going to talk to you later on in the presentation how you can take advantage of Google's website builder and create a relatively easy website for your business. So the next steps, for those of you that already claimed your business, you're probably very familiar with this, is you will need to verify the business. So for those of you that are about to claim their business or about to create a business profile, Google does require that you verify the business as yours. And there's going to be 3 ways that you can do that. Everyone is going to get the option to receive a postcard, which is going to give you a verification code, okay? And that takes about 5 to 7 business days. Depending on how you create your profile, you can also receive a text message with that code or a phone call with that with that code, okay? So again, so you could either verify by mail, verify by text and phone, and then lastly, you can verify by email, okay? So once you verify or once you request it, again, it takes about 5 to 7 business days to get that verification code by mail. You're almost basically complete with creating your profile. Just know that while you wait for that verification code, your profile is going to be public. It's just going to show up as unverified, okay? And you will have access to the dashboard, which is what we're going to cover next in the next portion of the presentation. Before I move on, any questions I can help answer in terms of the setup process before I move on and give you guys a tour of the Google My Business dashboard?
And let me, Israel, let me look, and I apologize at the beginning. I forgot to mention that if on the webinar, you can raise your hand. So I'm just checking to make sure there's no hands raised. And if you raise your hand, that will let us know that you have a question, or you could also type a question into the Q&A.
Awesome.
So I do have a question from Priya. Priya, let me go ahead and allow you to speak. Priya, you've been unmuted and you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thank you for doing this webinar. It's really helpful. My question is that I do have my business on Google and it is a verified listing.
Right.
And the customers are trying to put a review from last 2 years. There has been a good amount of customers who have tried putting a review, but it's not showing up there.
Interesting. Okay, I do have a section on the reviews at the end. I've never heard of reviews not appearing. So, and you should be getting an alert when somebody does successfully post. So I'll have to look into that because I've never heard of that. So I'll have to look into that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I have a whole section on reviews that I'm going to cover. So thank you for that question. Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think I don't, let's see.
That says somebody's asking how to connect. Okay, on LinkedIn. Okay. Okay, so somebody's looking for me on LinkedIn. That's a separate question. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on then.
Yes,
Okay, so
go ahead.
next we're going to take a look at the back end of the platform, which is a powerful tool because it's going to give you access to, you know, like I said earlier, give you access to edit the information that Google is going to display on search. So to start, you're going to be able to, if needed, revisit your business name. Okay, so you'll be able to edit your business name. And then remember when I had said that initially you may not find the category that's associated with your business. Just know that in the info section, you can include additional categories. And in fact, you can have up to 10 categories related to your business. So if you are an accountant and you offer, maybe you're a notary public as well, maybe you offer bookkeeping services, you can include all of these additional services under your profile so that Google understands a little bit more about what you do as a business and then start to allow you to appear on those searches, okay? So the next section within the info tab is your address or your service area. So again, here we're looking at Vince Jr.'s case. So he's got his business address. Maybe, you know, during the shutdown, the pandemic, let's just say that Vince started to offer delivery or drop off. So if that were the case, he would be able to include the service areas that he allows for these deliveries. Now, if you are a business owner that's operating out of your home, this again is the area where you can include the service, the counties, the cities that you work in, okay? Sometimes even with like the maps, for example, sometimes you may find that the little red cursor is not quite at the location of your business. So you can actually drag and drop this to the specific location where you're located. So the next section is under the info tab, and this is the hours of operation, which has been one of the more popular features in this last year for many reasons. One, many businesses had to adjust their hours of operation or expand their hours of operation. So the great thing about having control over your hours, your displayed hours, is that you can let searchers know if your hours have changed, if you've added hours. You know, we just had Labor Day weekend where a lot of businesses were closed. You can actually schedule and alert people that you've been closed for the holiday, okay? Now, in addition to the service hours, there is the special hours that would appear under your regular hours. And these are special hours of operation that may include hours where you do offer delivery or takeout. Maybe you have a drive-through that only operates in specific for specific hours. We saw early on in the pandemic when a lot of grocery stores were opening up an hour or two specifically for senior citizens. These are the types of things that you can highlight under the special hours, including, you know, my personal favorite, happy hours, right? So if you are a restaurant that offers a happy hour, you can definitely spotlight those hours within your profile. You'll be able to create a short name. This is very similar to the handles from like your other social media. You'll be able to secure your handle, and this is just so that you can start to promote your profile and let people know how to find you on Google or how to find your profile on Google. Phone numbers and websites. So you can include up to 3 phone numbers under your listing, and then include your website, which I highly recommend that you do. And you can also include special attributes. So These attributes can be, I'm not too far away from Camp Pendleton. There's a lot of veterans that live in Southern California that open up businesses. So, you can include a special attribute as to let people know that you're a veteran-owned business. Maybe you're a Black-owned business, a women-led business. These are things that you can spotlight on your profile, but also you can, also highlight things like, if you have wheelchair accessibility, maybe you don't, maybe you accept American Express. You can include all of these additional things that people sometimes look for or are looking to verify before they do business with you. Now, within the business description, a couple of things, okay? I'm going to encourage you to use this section, which is up to 750 characters, for you to be able to include a description that's going to allow searchers to learn and get to know your business, okay? I would love for you guys to spend some time on this description because one, it's going to be good for search, but two, people want to learn about whether or not you're a family-owned business or the number of years you've been operating, what makes you stand out from your competition. Let people in or give them some insight into your business so that way you can motivate them to come in. What I don't like to see on these sections is for it to just be a promotional piece. So this is not where you're going to want to talk about a 10% discount or the fact that you're having a sale. There's other areas within your profile that you can do that. I would encourage you to, be authentic in your description and give people insight into how you operate your business or what makes your business special, okay? For those of you that are maybe about to launch a business, just know that you can create a profile and it could be publicly listed 90 days before you launch. This is a great opportunity for you to start generating visibility and brand exposure and alerting people that you're going to be open or that you're opening soon. So this is a great feature. Again, you can create a profile up to 90 days before launch. And the great thing is, if you do take advantage of those 90 days, again, you can gain exposure. And then when you do go live, you can let people know, hey, we're open, or come on in. For those of you that count on appointment links or like third-party services that allow customers to either book an appointment, make a reservation, request a consultation, you can include that hyperlink in your profile. What I would encourage you to do is actually, once you do create your account, you can do a search for the integrations that Google has and just double check that they do have integration with that third-party platform. And it's going to be great because you can just include that link and start pointing people into those appointment sections. Same thing with bookings. Again, I would encourage you to do the research and find out if the integration does exist with that booking appointment link. Like for example, Calendly, there's a lot of appointment or booking links out there or services. If you find that there is no integration, you can actually request Google for an integration. So the post tab or the feature is very similar to how you post on other social media platforms. And this, remember when we were talking about the description, I said, save all your promotional content for other areas of your profile. This is what I'm talking about. So Google allows you to post 4 different types of content. One, there is a what's new section. This is going to be updating people on like office on hours of operation. Maybe you are setting some COVID guidelines that you want people to know about. This is where you would want to do that. If you are launching a new product or want to highlight a product, there is a whole section for products as well as offers. What I like about the offers section is that it allows you to also create a expiration date. So to create some urgency behind that offer, you can create that within your profile. And then also events. So if you have a soft opening coming up, if you are hosting a special event, you can create those events within your profile, okay? So when it comes to the images tab, so two things, okay? One, this is gonna allow you as a business owner to upload images to your profile, but it's also gonna allow for your customers to upload images to your profile, okay? Now, before you start to question, or start to worry about that, there's so many benefits to being able to allow customers to upload imagery. Within the marketing industry, we call that user-generated content. What I like about this is that there's one thing for you as a business owner to, upload product images, photography images of your food, but there's something that brings authenticity to your profiles when customers start to do that as well. It wasn't too long ago, 10 plus years ago, when we were, in some cases, poke fun of people who were taking photos of their latte art or their dish and, sharing it on their social media channels. Many of us were like rolling our eyes, right? But that's so common nowadays. We do that all the time without even thinking about it. So we want to encourage our customers to share that content with us, because you can repurpose that content for your own social media channels. You can request, especially if somebody's taking the time to take a beautiful image of your product or your food, I would reach out to them and say, thank you so much for that, taking that beautiful photo. Can I reshare this on my other platforms and give you credit? So it's a great way for you to not only use that user-generated content, but it's also going to give you insight as to how people are seeing and interacting with your product or service. Okay, so that's photos. Some additional tips when it comes to photos, in case you're wondering, what else can I do with this section? In addition to the photos, you can upload videos that are up to 30 seconds long. And with images and videos, you can do, for example, you can give a behind the scenes look as to how a product or a dish is made. We love to see that stuff. Maybe give a tour of your office or of your restaurant, highlight an employee. Believe it or not, right now, unboxing videos are a thing. So if you offer a product that gets shipped and you find that customers are videotaping themselves unboxing that package because they want to show their family the product or service, those are all types of things that you can repurpose or you can create in terms of content, okay? Before I move on, obviously on the screen, we're seeing Vince Cobbler's business. In their case, for example, before and after images are still very popular. You can see here how they've worked on a Louis Vuitton leather bag, and you can also see the before and after on these Chelsea boots. So this type of content is still so relevant, and we consume it and we love it. Under the products tab, so this is going to be particularly helpful for those of you that do have products. In this case, with Vince's business, they have a polish that they sell. So they're highlighting that product on their profile. So you can spotlight products on your profile. You can also include additional services. So with Vince Jr., for example, we know that he repairs shoes, but he may also repair belts. Maybe he does, he specializes in suede. So this is under the services tab. This is where you can add and let Google know what else you do in your business, right? What additional services do you offer? So take advantage of this section, because it's only going to help Google understand a little bit more about the services and type of business that you're operating. If you find yourself without a website, Google does have these Google pages. What it does is when you do create your profile on Google, there's a section there for website. What Google does is it's going to scour that profile and then automatically populate the website with the information that it found on your profile. But you can always go in and edit the color, add more imagery, add additional content to that website. I find that it's a fast and easy way to get online, especially for those of you that may not have the budget to create a website or hire somebody for a website. This is a quick and easy way to get up online. Okay, so let's talk about the reviews tab for a quick second. So what the business profile on Google will allow you to do is not only start to collect reviews, but also it's going to allow you to respond to reviews, okay? So when it comes to reviews, two things that I find happens with reviews. One, we as business owners forget to ask for reviews. We're either maybe shy about it, we forget, we're busy. Maybe we haven't trained our staff to learn how to ask for reviews. I want to help you with that. And what I mean by that is I want to encourage you to empower yourself to feel confident about asking for reviews, because while word of mouth marketing is still the #1 way that people can learn about your business, us that do research or searches online are looking at reviews when we are considering a product or service. On top of that, Google rewards you with these reviews, because if you get people talking about your business, Google starts to think, okay, this business is legitimate, people are liking this business, people are talking about this business, and it's only going to help you in your ranking. So my takeaway, or your takeaway from this, hopefully, is that you feel empowered to either start to ask for reviews, and then #2, start to respond to them. What tends to happen as business owners is we either are shy about commenting back, don't know how to address a review. My biggest advice is that you just don't let it sit there, okay? I always find it important personally when I'm looking at reviews. I like when I see that the business owner is thanking people for their reviews or acknowledging reviews, whether they're positive or negative. Especially the negative ones. I think it's a good opportunity for you to, tap into your customer service and be able to, respond to those reviews. So Google does give you a short URL that you can send out to customers. Again, I would train your staff members to ask for reviews. Maybe you'd offer like digital receipts, include that link on that digital receipt and ask them for the review, okay? So I know I sometimes digress in this section, but I'm really passionate about, reviews. And I just think that as business owners, we don't take advantage of these reviews as much as we should.
Israel, can we just stay on that thread really quick? We just got a question
Yes.
that I think is timely. The question is, I noticed that some of my clients do not have a Gmail account and they can't post a review. Do you need a Gmail account to post a review?
Not that I know of. They should be able to just comment on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. So the message tab. So for those of you that will download the Business Profile app, you do have the option of enabling the message feature. And I like this message feature because a lot of us are now used to texting, or maybe used to like a chat box on a website. The messaging tab allows you to receive and respond to messages directly from your profile. So if you are in a business industry that gets a ton of like frequently asked questions or inquiries, this is a great way for you to be able to directly message people on your profile, okay? You're also gonna be able to add users. So if you count with staff members or a marketing team, or you're going to tap somebody on your team to help you manage the profile, you can add them as a user and then give them different types of permissions. So they'll be able to be added as a co-owner. They can be, they can also be like a manager. So if you're a restaurant owner and you maybe have a front of the house manager that handles customer service, I would give them access to this, and to allow them to be able to respond to messages on your profile. So once we launch the profile, okay, we want to make sure that we monitor the success of these profiles. And so Google's going to give you access to the analytics, and you're going to be able to track and measure how many people are visiting your profile, what are people typing to discover your business profile. And I think that's a really good insight, because you may think you may have all your keywords down, and then you're finding that there's maybe one keyword that people are frequently using to find your business. I would take a look at what that keyword is and see if you can incorporate it in your marketing. You could also see how many people clicked on the directions tab, how many phone calls you received through your profile, and then as well as the number of images that have been uploaded. So this is what that dashboard would look like. Now, in addition to the analytics, Google is going to send you a monthly recap on your activity. To me, this is beneficial because it's going to show you whether or not your profile is working. So if you're finding that you're not getting the phone calls that you anticipated, or maybe the website visits that you had anticipated, I would go back and study your analytics. Maybe you're finding that you maybe have the wrong phone number listed, or your website wasn't linked, or the directions has a wrong number listed. So when you do get this recap at the end of the month, and I know it's a little bit hard to see, but it gives you a recap. So for example, in this case, 73 people clicked on the directions tab, 70 people visited the website, and then 326 people called your business through your profile. So again, this is going to give you insight as to whether or not your profile is working, okay? So next steps, okay, are if you haven't already created or claimed your profile, go to google.com/business, or do that search query and request to verify that account, okay?
Hey, Israel, just on that thread real quick, another question just came in.
Yes.
How do, if you claim your account, but it's been claimed and it's been hacked, or someone else has access, how do you fix that?
I haven't heard of it being hacked. So that's I don't think that's, I know what you're trying to say, but I wouldn't call it hacked. What we do see is that somebody did create a profile and then it's just not verified. So I would first double check that it's verified. I mean, that it isn't verified. If you find that there's already a profile that exists of your business and you don't have access to it, you can actually submit a request to Google to claim that business as yours, and letting them know, like, this profile exists, but it has nothing to do with my business. One thing that we find, for example, is sometimes somebody buys a business from somebody and they want to know how they can take over that business profile. So what you would do is just create another profile and then let Google know that you're taking over this business, that you're the new business owner, and be able to, what they can do is take down the old listing and then have your listing up here, okay? Okay, so next step. So once we launch, right? So for me, the ideal scenario is that you just don't forget about that profile, that you remain active on that profile, that you encourage people to upload photos, that you yourself upload images on a regular basis. If at all, once a month, maybe, upload a photo or a video, or maybe go in, weekly, make it a habit to check out the reviews and respond to the reviews. I find it easier when I have the application on my phone, because then I get alerts directly on my phone and I can respond. But otherwise, just make it a habit to stay active on your profile, and then more importantly, to study the insights that Google has. So before we let you go, so two things. I'm actually going to be offering this exact same webinar on Monday in Spanish. If you find that there's a business owner that that could benefit from this content, the webinar will be in Spanish. It's at 5 p.m. It's on September 13th. And then I'm actually going to continue the series with the city of Sunnyvale. I'm going to come back towards the end of September for the third and final webinar, which is Make Your Website Work For You. This webinar is intended not only for businesses that want to launch a website, but businesses that already have an existing website. I'm going to walk you through some examples of what Google looks for when they're ranking a website. I'm also going to talk to you about what it means to optimize your website and to keep your website fresh so that Google can continue to rank your website higher and higher. I'm going to talk about things like keywords. I'm going to talk about analytics. So it's a webinar intended to help you, if you have a website, to help you optimize it to Google standards, okay? So if you do have a website, I encourage you to join us for that. And then one more additional resource, as you start to collect reviews, if you wanna promote your profile, Google has a marketing kit that you can download from the website. I find that the marketing kit is helpful because it's sort of a whole kit in one. But I also like the graphics. I like the imagery that they're using. You can use these templates to, for example, if you want to print a customer review that you find particularly impactful, you can also download a template to let people know to leave you a review. So it's a really helpful toolkit that I encourage you guys to take advantage of. And then last but not least, if you want to learn more about the Grow with Google program, you can go to google.com/grow. Okay, so with that, Connie, let's address any additional questions.
Yeah. Well, Israel, first of all, thank you so much. As always, you know, this is the second one. And again, I learned 5 things. And I love coming to these things because my list of knowing how to do this continues to grow. And I love that we can claim our business. I was doing a little bit of multitasking and looking at some of our Sunnyvale businesses, and you could see the ones that have taken advantage of this and have a robust profile. You can tell the difference. So I really encourage everybody to take advantage of this. And then just to wrap up, there is one more question, you know, can they see the recordings of the first one? And yes, we do have a YouTube link on our website. We will also email, since we have everyone's email address that's signed up to this address, we will email you the link of today's website, because as much as I was trying to take notes, you know, there's a lot of information that we learned here that we want to sometimes refer back to it. So we have a recording. You'll be able to see it on YouTube. You can pause. And what I love about this is that you can actually do stuff on the website, watch the video, pause it, come back and make sure that you're doing this. So we will have the link for today's YouTube. We will also forward you the link for the previous one. And I encourage you to come back for a third one. I neglected to introduce Maria Rodriguez, who actually works with the city of Sunnyvale. And many of you have either spoken to her via email or talked to her on the phone, because she actually was the one that put a lot of, you know, what it takes in the background to make this happen. So Maria, thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, please reach out to all of us. We are running out of time, but there is a few questions. Everyone is saying thank you. They loved it. Wonderful webinar. Could you please send the YouTube link of this recording? Yes, absolutely, I will. And with that, I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. So please let us know. And Israel, again, can't thank you enough.
Of course, thank you again.
Wonderful.
And here as a resource, everybody. Thank you, Maria.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Don.
everyone. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Bye for now.